results, but were you happy with what seemed to be fighting, persistence, and a will to stay in the game?
Yeah.
As long as they could?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pleased with obviously the effort, and I've been pleased with the effort for the last 2 months. These guys just continue to show up and do the work, and we had a few moments there that maybe we could have captured, and we just couldn't finish off some things around the rim, and then the foul discipline there of just a couple tic-tac reach-in fouls was the deciding factor. So I thought it was a good effort across the board by our guys, and the fight was really good. And super proud of, obviously, Reuben's accomplishment with the 350 games and his career, and really happy that it was on the journey with us to get to 350. And so we're all obviously ecstatic for him in the locker room and game ball, and had a video for him. And so really excited for him and his family.
Reuben, I'll come back to 350 in a moment. Just want to go a bit further, Scott. Right at the death there, you thought that you fouled Sam quite clearly, and it wasn't called with time on the clock for you to...
Well, I think at the end of the day, you know, Crawford shoots a three and gets run off the floor. The block's good, but when you run through somebody, I don't know, I guess that's not a foul. And then you have to have a feel for what's going on as a ref to understand that we're going to foul. And they chose not to call it. It's just is what it is. I can't say very much. We're owned by the NBL. So I have to keep my mouth as shut as I possibly can. But believe me, I'd love to really speak my mind, but unfortunately I can't.
See, the Hawks seem to do a really good job on Crawford and Doyle. Were you expecting that? Were you expecting them to sort of target them too?
Well, they're the best team in the league right now, so they're playing as well as anybody, and deservedly so, and they're good. So, I mean, they're going to defend, and they're going to try to score, and they're a good team. So whether they're targeting whomever, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You know that when you go against them, you're going to have your hands full. So we had some other guys chip in here and there, and Shawnee Mack, you know, had a wonderful game, and we had some other guys. You know, Milt obviously didn't score, but, you know, he had 10 rebounds and 7 assists, and so, you know, we do it collectively across the board, and it's not a one-man show with us. And I thought guys that were on the floor were productive.
Last time you guys were in this building, the Hawks gave you quite a big, they beat you quite convincingly. As Matty touched on earlier, tell me what you were pleased about your team. What pleased you about their performance today?
Well, I mean, I just think, you know, the last, I don't know what it's been now, 8 weeks or so. I think at some point we were 3-8 and everyone left us for dead. And at that point, you know, we continued to keep fighting and doing what we do down in Tasmania, and trying to defend the island and fight for the Tasmanians. And our work ethic is unquestionable, and our culture is unquestionable, and we rely on that. And sometimes it's going for you, and sometimes it's against you. It's basketball. It's a fickle game at times, and I enjoy the struggle, to be quite honest with you, because it really shows character across the board of who we are. And I know we won 8 games, but no one really cared too much about that because they said we didn't play anybody during those 8 games. So, but internally, it's a hell of an accomplishment to where we were.
No, it wasn't the result you wanted. Do you reckon you lost it in the first 2 quarters, knowing in the second 2 it really seemed that you came out fighting for that spot the same as like the Phoenix and Cairns did in the other previous 2 games?
I mean, you know, you're going to have good quarters and bad quarters, and you try to remain relatively consistent in your quarters and how you're playing. And, you know, the second quarter was probably the deciding quarter as far as getting some separation there. But we had our moments in the 3rd and 4th, and our guys continued to fight, and it was really a good sign.
Reuben, Illawarra had been to 100 points plus in 9 straight games, as high as 121 in a game against Perth. Do you take any pride out of the fact that you kept them to 89?
Yeah, like Coach said, I thought we did a lot of good things. Obviously, down the end of the game, we had a few possessions there, but I thought for the most part we did all the things we wanted to do coming into this game.
In commentary, one of the co-commentators said about your Milestone, it feels like this bloke's been around forever. Does it seem that way for you?
Yes. Nah, yeah, it truly does. Like training every day, playing 350 games. But, you know, I'm enjoying it, and it's the thing I love to do.
You're still a young man, you're 30 years of age, which begs the question, you know, what's the tally going to be when the day comes to finish? Like, how much basketball do you think you have left?
I don't want to put a number on it, but I'm just taking every day as they come. Just trying to work as hard as I can every day, and just enjoying the process.
Pretty hard to top, you know, championships early on in your career at New Zealand, but I imagine being part of a championship-winning team now from last season, you know, it must stand out as well, playing with this Tassie team.
Yeah, it's cool and it's beautiful to see. I'm grateful that I'm in on this program and I get to go to work with these boys because they're definitely hard workers and I love it.
Are you a man for milestones? Do you allow yourself to celebrate that field pride now? Or is that something for post-retirement?
I feel like I'm not really a man for milestones, but in saying that, I think it is good to celebrate them and to sit down and just remember some of the times and how grateful I am to be able to play this long.
Target now is 400 games. Do you reckon you might have 500 in you? Not many people have 500. I'm really putting it on you now, aren't I?
Yeah.
Would 500 be within reach?
Yeah, who knows? Like I said, one day at a time for me.
I will say something about him, you know, and it's no knock because I don't really completely understand it because they thrive down in Tasmania with us. But, you know, when we lost Jack McVeigh, we were scrambling to find a player, and he didn't have a job. Like, no one wanted him in the NBL. A guy that's been the captain of the All Blacks, stellar career of just a human being on and off the floor, and he's literally sitting there before the season starts without a job, and no team is even making a play for him. And we've had a few of these guys like this come through our program the last 4 years. It's been built on guys getting second chances and reviving their career and trying to get them back on track. And I can go down a list with Isaiah White and Matt Kenyon, and the list goes on of guys that have come back down there. Majuk Dang 2 years ago was in the same boat. No one really wanted to sign Majuk. It's just a credit to him, and I can't wrap my head around you not wanting a 30-year-old veteran that's been with the All Blacks, a great human being and a worker, and for him not to be on a roster, I'm quite shocked, and I hope that never transpires again for him because Majuk Dang said he has 10 more years left in him, and I really hope that he gets that because you just can't find guys like this to put onto a roster with the character that he has, and like I said, he's been a wonderful addition to our group and just fits in perfectly with what we do.
Like your last consecutive losses don't detract from your 8 straight wins. You've got to get back into the race, but what sort of importance do you put around the Adelaide game back home now?
Yeah, I mean, they're all going to be important. Everyone's going to analyze them and overanalyze them and underanalyze them, and, you know, to me, they're basically, you know, 7 or 8 in a row finals games, and you're just trying to play there and see where we go. And as I said before, we could lose all 9, or we could win 4 or 5, or we could split. I don't really know what's going to transpire other than we'll show up and we'll do the best we can. It's been a really good run for these guys, and I'm really quite proud of them. And as I've said before, for me, I get to see these guys other 128 days or 130 days off the floor and what they do in our community in Tasmania. And that's always how I'm going to judge my team. I'm not judging my team by championships, winning, losing. I judge my team by the character that we've created in Tasmania for Tasmanian people and the impact they have. And when we walk out of this season, it'll be the same thing for me. We're going to have a wonderful season. I still believe we're going to have a wonderful season, regardless of what transpires, because I know what we've done in Tasmania to the people of Tasmania and the impact these guys have had.
Will, is there any update when they ask?
Actually, this week, I think he's actually going in for an X-ray update. I think it's only 3.5 weeks, and his timetable was 6 to 8 before we got to reevaluate again. But you know, he's out for the season, obviously, and if we're lucky enough to continue to play, maybe he can come back, maybe he can't. But I think that X-ray is this week at some point.
Thank you.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.